From dating to relationships, from sex to love, from Christianity to politics, from darkness to light, you have now entered into the real zone. Welcome to Conversations with Trent, where no topic of conversation is safe from discussion. Now, here he is, Mr. Epic himself, Trent Williams.
Good morning. Welcome to another conversation with Trent and Friends, featuring the lovely nutritionist coach from France, Catherine Githu. We're talking about nutrition and mental health. And Catherine will go along and talk about the great foods and depression and what types of nutrition to improve mental health. And I'll also share some of the things that I've done to improve my brain function since the bleed on the brain, since the incident. So good stuff. Let's bring the beautiful Catherine in one sec. Hey.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. Well, good evening to you.
Good afternoon. Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How are you doing this morning?
Doing well. How are you?
Perfect.
Good stuff. How's it going in France? How's the weather?
Oh, it's a bit hot. Well, that's funny because we are having I would say the coolest summer ever since I came here, because I think from 20 years ago from now, I think that's when we started having these heat waves.
Yeah.
And this time we really had the July, June and July, we really had low temperatures. We had a lot of rain. It's just stopped raining. It was raining with thunders, which is really surprising. So we understand that the globe is heating.
Yeah, the globe is actually warming up. So
yeah.
Climate change is
it's real. It's real.
It's very real.
Yeah.
So good stuff,
Yeah.
man. Good stuff, real good stuff. Hey, this is a great one that you chose here, man. Nutrition and mental health.
Yeah.
And when you sent it to me, I thought about it. I was like, wow. With the whole bleed on the brain situation with me,
Yeah.
I was like, I'd love to know, love to hear. And I'm going to share some things that I take for the brain function and whatnot, as far as like greens and stuff like that. So I share it throughout the show, but you go ahead and tell us why you suggested this topic.
I think it's because it's something that really touched me personally, because I went through different phases in my life. I grew up very stressful. I was under stress, and I really had a very bad relationship with my parents, especially my mother. And I've just come to realize lately that the emotional trauma that I had then affected my learning, because I was very bad in learning. It's not up to recently where I could read and then I had to read it again. Like, the way you read a book and you have to go back to like two phrases, sentences behind it. And that's really something that I really improved. I also realized with time, like the last 5 years, before I used to be very moody, very stressed out, very irritated. I used to be very, like, I couldn't have any patience with my kids. And I realized that I used to have those moments mostly when I was having low iron. I am anemic.
Okay.
And every time like I would go down with, I would feel the symptoms of anemia. It's like you feel tired, you climb 2 stairs and you feel like your chest is going to burst out.
Right.
The knees becomes weak. And so every time I was in that conditions, I would feel my heart beating very fast as well. And I would become very like, they would tell me something and I'm just like busting up. And there was time I told myself, like, I have to be constantly supplementing myself with iron. And boom, they can do everything they were doing before. I don't feel the same moods again. So food is really related to how we feel.
When you told me the topic for this week, I started thinking about, here in Louisiana, New Orleans, Louisiana,
Yeah.
um, we pride ourselves on hearty food. And
Oh,
ever since a kid,
mm,
I never enjoyed feeling stuffed.
okay.
Oh, like after every meal, I felt
Mhm.
stuff and I hated that feeling and never
Okay.
knew why I was feeling that way. You know,
Mhm. Mhm.
sluggish and just drained after eating a meal.
Okay. Okay.
It has
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible. There are people who feel, yeah, you feel tired and sluggish, as you say. There is that metabolism of food, like you're not breaking food properly. But also, it's like what is in the food. If it's high sugar, high fat, that food, okay, one will know it will affect little, but if you that's what you're being brought up in, then it's obviously going to affect you. Um,
exactly.
yeah, so
But you know what I find it was very enlightening for me
mhm,
after the bleed on the brain. I
mhm,
started eating different. I changed my eating habits and healthier, right?
yeah,
I'm healthier now than I was when I was actually before the bleed on the brain, right?
wow, that's
And
amazing.
exactly. My intake now is like leafy greens, berries, dark chocolates, avocados, and stuff like that to help, stimulate the brain. Because as you know, with a
Yeah,
bleed on the brain and having a stroke, you lose
yeah,
oxygen to the brain. So
yeah, for sure,
you
for
gotta,
sure.
retrain the brain to do certain things. So it's a process.
It's
It's
a
definitely a process.
and I would say it's always good to be proud of the small milestones that you have gone through because the way I stroke is something that maybe a lot of people don't know about it, but
Absolutely.
it's a hard work to come from zero. You know, like
Yeah.
you're in coma and you have to leave, and it's just a day and night. Like you were living yesterday, and boom, all your life changes.
Exactly.
I lost
Exactly.
my grandmother out of stroke, and she didn't recover. She was 80 something, or going to 90, and
Right.
yeah, I think it's something that people really have to be aware of. Like whatever we are putting in our mouth affects how we are feeling.
Right. And this is
Yeah,
why I enjoy this podcast with you. And I thank you so much. I'm so grateful to you for even bringing your plethora of information and your knowledge on nutrition is very important to me because the situation that I found myself in.
yeah, yeah.
And, you know, reading your blogs and stuff like that has helped me a ton in placing me on the right track. I'm on the
Perfect.
right track. I'm more healthier now than I was ever before.
I
Even
would say so. I would also say the same thing. Like it's since I changed my diet to heal myself, to support my body in healing, that I
absolutely
really started really eating better than I and feeling energetic. Like
right.
um, I can sprint now than I would run before. So there are a lot of things that I do now that I didn't feel like I was capable of doing. But most of it, I would say it's mental health for me, like that feeling at peace with myself. It
So
doesn't, it's not just 100% food, but it plays a role in
let's start off with the one thing that I do. If
it.
I don't do it every day,
Yeah,
I do it. It depends on the schedule, with the gym and what I have going on or whatever. But let's start
yeah,
talking about the leafy greens. What's
yeah.
the positive in that as far as mental health?
Okay, the leafy greens are the ones that are going to bring a lot of antioxidants. They are also high in minerals like magnesium. Magnesium is very, very important for the mental health,
Uh,
and you find that you can find it in beans and legumes. But the leafy greens, they are much easier to digest, and they're bringing us fiber, which also you'll find it in the legumes. But the food and the science really insist on green leafy
Right.
vegetables. Yeah, but it's not just, there is that thing when we say greens and we think we're just talking about kales and spinach and all that. Let's talk about rainbow, eating your variety of vegetables. So bell peppers, they're in there, carrots are in there, yellow zucchini, pumpkins are there.
Right.
Every vegetable that is really growing, and once again, like I talked last time, depending where the food is grown. If you are just eating food that has been grown on the air with a lot of greenhouses,
Right.
better ask yourself if you're really getting nutrients or you're just getting food, macronutrients to feed yourself. So yeah, greens are very important. And once again, let's not just say greens, but we say vegetables in general. They are very nutritious.
Right. Got
Yeah.
you. Got you. Got you. Got you. What are some of the things you do? Like some of the things you do to improve your
My diet really has changed, and I have two kids. I have a 20-year-old son, and I have a girl who is 11 years old. And I have me who has to deal with my age and also my disease. So we eat a meal, but everyone has different requirements. So for me, I will eat a lot of salads, for example. When I was first starting and I really wanted to jump into getting nutrients, I used to juice, and I also used to take a lot of smoothies because they are like, I don't. Today there are people who are saying, "Oh, you can't take smoothies because they're high in sugar. They're not." But what I want to tell people is, when you take a blender and you put vegetables, and even if you add just maybe some fruits in it,
right.
that blender is just doing the same thing that your mouth is supposed to do mechanically. It doesn't change anything. You're supposed to chew your food till it gets like puree.
Right.
And what is a smoothie? Smoothie is just uncooked puree.
Right.
So, and the best part of the smoothie is because it's like pre-digested, so you don't have to break it down with your teeth. You don't have to chew. It goes down, and the nutrients are released. That goes also with juicing. And when I'm talking about this, I'm talking about really taking vegetables and fruits together. It's not just fruit smoothies. I'm talking of healthy part. So today, like I take more of raw food because I find it's much easier for me to digest it.
Right.
So I'll cook. Like yesterday, I cooked millet and some lentils and some vegetables apart, but I ate only salad and I left the food for my kids.
Right.
So
I had
yeah,
some a friend of mine made some lentil soup
yeah,
for me 2 weeks ago after she came back from Africa. She's
yeah,
always bringing lentil soup for me because I love
mhm,
lentil soup.
yeah, yeah.
And I just had lentil soup right after she came back from Africa.
That's beautiful.
It was
Lentils are high in proteins and they're high in minerals, especially when someone is going through iron deficiency. So they're they're good food. The
right.
only caveat, for example, it's like if you're eating lentils and you have anemia, then and you're making curry. So if
Right.
you add curcuma inside, you're not going to get those benefits of the iron.
But I tell you, the one thing that I've done since our previous podcast,
Yeah.
when I make my smoothies
Smoothies.
or
Yeah.
ginger juice, I
Yeah.
consume it that day. I don't store it anymore. So when I
That's
do it,
beautiful.
I
Yeah.
consume it. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe remind our people like, yeah, we had our podcast last time and we talked about how to maximize nutrients. And so it's
Yeah.
better to go back and watch that podcast for more details.
Exactly. Let's talk
Yeah.
about what about dark chocolates? What are the benefits with dark chocolate? Are you familiar?
Can I ask you, when you talk about dark chocolate, what percentage do you have in your of cocoa in the dark chocolate?
What
Like the chocolate has like 30%, 50%, 60%, 70%, 80%, and 100% of cacao. How much of cacao is in your dark chocolate?
How much of the one more time?
Cacao, cacao.
Cocoa.
Yeah, yeah.
How do you call it? You said cacao?
No, there is cocoa and there is cacao. They are
Got
both of them are like they're the same, but they're different in the fact that
right.
cacao is less minimally processed, while
Gotcha.
cocoa is highly processed, and cocoa is the one that makes chocolate.
Gotcha. I learned something
Now
every
in
time.
the now in the chocolate, when you take cocoa, it's much sweeter because
Okay.
they also remove a lot of the phytonutrients that makes it to be the cacao to be very bitter. When you take the raw cacao, it's very bitter.
Okay.
And that's why when we talk about chocolate, we're talking about milk chocolate and we're talking about dark chocolate. And dark chocolate, it's actually how much amount of chocolate, cacao, or cocoa is in the chocolate.
I wish I could get up from here right now and go to my freezer.
You don't
I
know that.
have a ton of dark chocolate.
Yeah.
I'm dying to go and read the label and see how much is in it.
Okay. So now, depending on what you're going to find, and from here to in the future, your consumption of cacao or chocolate, to get a better amount of the best benefits of chocolate, you need to get 70%.
70%.
Yeah, from the minimum you can tell yourself, okay, here I'm eating something healthy. Because chocolate is made with milk, sugar, and cocoa.
Right.
And so if you have a 30%, for example, you'll see it's like it's more creamier, it has milk.
Right.
And the first ingredient might be sugar.
Right. Now,
So
this dark chocolate that I have that I'm always eating,
yeah.
it's bitter in taste. It's not too sweet at all.
Okay.
Very bitter
That's
in taste.
that. If that it's bitter, then the bitter, the better.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the bitter, the better.
So I'm doing
And
something. Okay.
and something else you can do, which is not, I would advise for the health because the tastes are not the same. Like for me, I take the raw cacao and I make hot chocolate with that, like
Uh,
hot cocoa. Like it's just 100%, doesn't have sugar. It's just cacao.
uh,
And when you read the labels, it's cacao, CAO, instead of COA. So it's
gotcha.
cacao, and it's bitter, and it has all the phytonutrients of the cocoa beans.
Yeah, because the dark
And
chocolate I have I have a ton of it. Very
yeah,
bitter to the taste.
that's beautiful. It's one of the brain food, the
Okay.
chocolate itself. Yeah, the cacao, because the cacao is the one that makes the chocolate.
Okay.
Now, yeah, it's something that it's good to eat, to consume. And once again, I emphasize the minimum it should be 70% cacao, cocoa, if you can say.
Exactly. Now let's
Yeah,
talk about the avocados and the transmitters. And that I eat a ton of avocados. I can
okay,
actually eat it alone,
yeah.
or I mix it in with little tomatoes and stuff like that. And I remember on a previous podcast, you said
Mhm.
the better to eat tomatoes cooked,
Yeah,
but I have it raw.
it's all right. Like it's summer. We're not going to cook tomatoes. I just highlighted that cooked tomatoes have more anti-cancer
Okay.
properties because the lycopene becomes bioavailable, just like the way eating carrots, cooked carrots,
Okay.
you have more beta carotene than when you're eating raw. But it's okay to eat your tomatoes when they are raw. I just eat a salad with uncooked tomatoes. And
Okay.
yes, avocado is a healthy food. Actually, it's really good. It has good fat. So it's beautiful. It's that you're eating avocados. Now, I always say like people have to be careful where they are.
Mm.
So for you, like if you have access to avocado, and for me, I don't have access to avocados.
Is
Like
that right?
they are very expensive. They're it's really expensive to buy avocados here. There is that season where we might get avocados, but they never, like, you might buy 5 avocados and you end up eating only one. Like the whole stuff. We don't have that access of having those, the way you see people cut avocado and you see it's just green, you say, wow.
Right. Now,
So
for the new viewers, not to cut you off, for the new viewers, let them know where you're broadcasting from, because they're saying, "Wow, she can't get avocados." Tell everyone where
I'm in France, and yeah, this is not hemisphere. We don't have avocados coming to us. Like we don't have avocados here. They don't grow here, and when they come like they were harvested before they get they ripe. And so, especially, which is a very, and I hope Kenyans would get this, we have a lot of avocados that come from Kenya, but they are unedible. They are unedible because they were harvested when they were immature, they harden, and they don't ripe up.
Is that right?
So it's really a shame because it's a very good food, but well, when I go back to what I was saying, it's like, when you don't have avocados, you find out what you can substitute with avocado and have those health facts. We know, like, and this is another topic, it's about fats. So avocado has fat, and you eat fat. Avocado and the coconut, they are found in the equatorial region or across the world. When you come to the northern hemisphere, we have olives, and we have nuts and seeds. So depending where you are, like me, I would go more into olive oil instead of having that avocado, right? And someone who is also not having avocado, but have coconuts, they're going to have this. We are not having the same nutrient profile, but yeah, if you don't have avocado, you can do something else.
Okay, good stuff. Well, let's talk about berries for a second. I do a lot of berries too, especially blueberries. Not only do I eat blueberries, I give them to my dog Kobe as well, as you can see him in the background.
Really?
Yeah, blueberries. Yeah.
Blueberries, they are known to be among the high food in antioxidants, and it's very good to eat them. Now, I would say, like, there are two differences. There is wild blueberries, and cultivated blueberries. And if you look, the wild blueberries, they are red inside, and the cultivated, they are white. So if you really want to maximize, you go for wild berries.
Wild berries.
Oh yes, and I remember if I mentioned last time, the more the plant is growing in harsh conditions where it has to produce more protective mechanisms, those are the antioxidants. And so if you can get blueberries that are outside, they are wild blueberries, they are much better than the ones that have been cultivated. That said, if you just get the cultivated ones, you just get the cultivated. Also, knowing that we like in America, because most of the research is done in America, and that's where maybe they find a lot of blueberries. If you're not in America, what do? There are goji berries, like in China. There are also other berries, acai, that comes, I think, from South America. So any berries that you have around you, I remember when I was growing up, we used to have berries outside. They were only fruits that I ever ate, because they were only fruits that grew there. Sorry, just a second. They have nothing to do with the berries that we are talking about. So berries could be any small fruits that are growing on the tree. That's what I would say. Yeah, any type of berries would be okay.
Right. As a kid, I used to eat wild berries outside. Like, we play a lot, and we used to go to this area where berries just grew.
Yeah.
And we just eat them. As a kid, we just eat them off the tree.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's good to eat berries a lot if it's possible.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything else? You have a question or?
Yeah. Anything you have there? Because I have a list here.
Okay. And I would like to just go back and say, like, this is a disclaimer. Whatever we're talking here, it's just to inform. I'm not telling people to go and start doing anything here. If I talk about supplementing your food, your diet, this is just to inform you. Yes, I'm a health coach, but I'm not telling you to change your diet. It's up to you. And if you need to see a doctor, you see a doctor for that. Absolutely. So the thing is, we went a lot, and so whatever we eat affects the way we think, and the relationship we have with others. So I'll jump back to my papers. So how does nutrition affect your mental health? We should know that brain involves everything that we are doing, how you're thinking, how you're relating yourself with people or the environment around you. And so brain is always active. The only time the brain is not active is when you're sleeping, and it's not like it's 100% shut. So brain needs a lot of energy. And just like a car that you're running every day, you need to fuel your brain with nutrients. Now, it depends. If you feed your brain with good nutrients, obviously have good outcome. But when you feed your brain with unhealthy food, and especially we talk a lot about the SAD diet, this American diet where it's full of burgers. We're talking about junk food. These food are pro-inflammatory, that when you eat them, they have that capacity of bringing pain. They also alter gut microbiome, which plays a very huge role between your gut and the brain. So I remember, I don't know, it's to the last podcast I said, the gut microbiome is actually the one that really helps us to have a nice, healthy life. So when you're talking about being healthy, we have to consider what we are eating, what are we feeding microbiome. And so when you have the information affects the way the blood flow in the brain. And that can alter the way we are thinking, can alter the way you're feeling, and the decisions that you're making, and the way your food, people who have depression or someone who is having mental problem will have difficulties in choosing the right food or making the right decisions because there is part of the brain that is altered. So yeah, avoiding the food that can cause inflammation and those high sugar, alcohol, caffeine, it's really, there are people who it's like this and that. So it's like you have to have a good dose of it. That means you don't go beyond. That's like a cup or two is okay. But if you're drinking coffee the whole day, then you're not getting the benefits of coffee. Coffee on itself is a good food, but when it is misused, then it's no longer a good food. Okay.
Let's hover around the high in sugar for a minute. That's very important. So you're saying that if it's high in sugar, it's gonna, what is it gonna?
Create inflammation in the body.
Inflammation. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
We talked about sugar, and I'm talking about the artificial sugar as well. So we have to be careful with that. The sodas, people. It seems like in America they don't drink a lot of water, but they drink a lot of sodas. So have to be careful with that.
Some people in America.
Some people, yeah. So if you're having a diet that is going to raise blood sugar, it's also going to affect the way your brain is, your brain health, the way you're thinking and the way you're feeling. So we need to focus into nutrients dense food, and just the way you talked about, like you take avocados, you take nuts and seeds, you take a lot of vegetables, a lot of fruits. I am all right with taking meat, like I said the last time. Meat is good as long as your meat is coming from a healthy animal. We are all what we eat, and so is the animal. If the animal is raised with antibiotics and a lot of medication so that it can grow fat, you understand that you're also going to eat an animal that has been stressed, that has a lot of antibiotics, and that alone is going to affect your health. So choosing where your meat is coming from. We talked last time, I think, with you, like you eat a lot of salmon, and I was telling you,
Yeah.
which is great. It's great to eat fish because you're having that source of omega-3. And I used to love to eat salmon, but I found myself, I couldn't even get to eat salmon because every time I'm getting to it, I'm like, where did you come from? Because we know today the ocean is very polluted.
Right.
And a lot of studies and people who have had experience of eating high fish diet and find themselves with mercury. So we have to be very careful. Choose your food, choose your proteins. If you're getting it from seafood, make sure that your seafood is coming from a clean place. I don't know how you can do that because it's like, they fish, they bring to you, they can tell you whatever they want to tell you. It's like, so if there is wild caught, that will be the best. That will be the best.
I got to tell the folks here, right? I just had a thought. I've been knowing Catherine for a number of years. And as we talked and communicated throughout the years, I never, and I got to be honest, and this is ignorance on my part, I never looked at the labels on anything that I was consuming. But when Catherine started telling me different things about what are you consuming, what are you eating, I'm looking on labels at any time. Like I now with this condition, I send Brandy to the store to grocery shopping, and I tell her specifically what I want and what I don't want, and whatever she's purchasing for me. And that's very important, man. Very important that you look at the label,
Yeah.
whatever you're consuming. So I learned that from Catherine, and that's a very good benefit in this friendship of having a nutritionist coach as a friend. So it's very important to look at the label, see what you're consuming, man. Just make sure you know exactly what's going into your body. Your body is your
Exactly. So having that per se, so increasing the nutrients, and I also like talked like some people might say, yes, but I'm eating healthy, like I'm eating my rice, I'm eating my vegetables, and I'm saying here we're not just looking at the micronutrients, we are zooming in for the nutrient dense, which food is bringing you nutrients. And I would say you need to bring raw food in your diet so that you can maximize those nutrients. Whenever you are cooking food, there's some part of food that is being brought. They're easy to digest, so they become bioavailable. So you can you can easily digest them. We can't eat raw beans, for example. But on the other side, there is something that is being destroyed in that food.
Right.
So as long as you're eating your healthy food and you don't have any raw food, I don't think you're really maximizing your diet. And I'm not here to say that we need to go raw food.
Excuse me 1 second. Excuse me 1 second. Are you saying raw food?
Yeah, raw food. Because raw foods are the ones they have. It's just like the way you said when you was younger, you run outside and you pick the berry, you eat it. It has all the nutrients there. But when you cook, imagine you pick it and you cook it, you destroy some of them. And most importantly, we destroy the enzymes around the food. And the enzymes are the ones are part of what makes us live longer and healthier. So enzymes and some nutrients are going to come through the raw food. And when I'm talking raw food, I'm talking make a big salad. And a salad is not just lettuce. You know, like you go to my foodandheal.com and you see a variety of salads. Like you can make salad from just a few things that are edible. You bring them together and you eat that before eating your meal. So please bring nutrient dense food in your diet so that you can improve your health.
Foodandheal.com is the
Yeah,
spot.
food.
I
Yeah.
gotta tell you, man, and it's actually on the screen, folks. Foodandheal.com. But I have to tell you, when I see these different things that she's making up and whipping up, I'm hungry every single time I see it. I get hungry because
Yeah.
I mean, it looks so good. Even with, I mean, you don't even cook with meat. I'm like, wow,
No,
like it's
no, I don't cook with meat.
exactly,
I don't cook with
exactly.
meat.
Food and Heal is the spot, folks. Foodandheal.com.
Yeah.
That's the spot. It's on.
And it's all on C's. It's all in small letters. It doesn't have capitals. So if you go to Google, but I think it's supposed to, you can pull it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what else did I want to say? I talked a little bit of magnesium. So magnesium is it's one of the minerals that we really need to bring into our diet. It has about 500 chemical reactions in the body. So you need to bring magnesium. You need to increase B vitamins.
Mm-hmm.
Especially we're talking about B6, B9, and B12. People who have plant-based, they have an issue in getting B12 because B12 actually it comes from the digestion that animals, the bacteria in the digestion system of the animals.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like something that you can get from the nature, apart from some algae that you can get B vitamin from, B12 I'm talking about. So supplementing with B12 would be good for those who are vegan or those who are following plant-based diet. We're talking about increasing vitamin D as well. Touch a little bit of that. For those who are dark skin, we should know that we don't process sunlight the same way like a white person, the lighter skin. And this has nothing to do with race. It's just the way genetically we are made. People who grew up from Africa, they have melanin to protect them from sun rays. So normally, in normal cases, an African person who has a dark skin doesn't have to put sunscreen because the melanin repel the sun, the UVs. However, that the fact that the melanins repel the sun, the UV, that means that we get hard time to have that vitamin D getting into our skin, into our system. So, for example, if a white person is staying under the sun for 30 minutes to get a vitamin D for one day, a dark person, and it depends with how much dark you are, we need at least 90 minutes.
Wow.
Knowing that the early sun doesn't have the UV like the sun that is in the horizon, that like is on the, I don't know how, I can't remember how we call it. Like the one that is on top here is the one that has the UVs, but those UVs also becomes very dangerous because they're strong.
Right.
So we need to find that part where you can expose yourself to the sun without burning yourself. Don't go too early in the morning if you're waking up at 5 o'clock or 7. Before 9, that sun is not giving you any vitamin D because the UV is not strong enough.
Interesting.
Okay, so we need that, and there's some people who come from Africa and they go to Northern Hemisphere and they start having mental problems like bipolar and depression because they just come into a place where there's no excess sunlight. So we know that lack of vitamin D it's essential for having good brain health. I would say so. Those who are in Africa, or those who are in I don't like just saying Africa. The whole world doesn't stop in Africa, you know. So those who are in the equatorial or those who are in the south.
Right.
If you're a needle person, if you're working all the time, you need to get time to go outside or supplement yourself with vitamin D. But it would be sad, like, like if you go to work early in the morning, you come in the evening, try to get some time where you can just go out. You can go walk to your work, to your office, or, from your office to your house, and, get that time to expose yourself to the sun. The other thing was to increase omega-3s. We talked a little bit of fish. Fish is the best source of omega-3. We would even say the fish oil, but there is always a problem when we talk about fish oil, because omega-3, they're very, very sensitive to the light and to the heat. So if you're taking omega-3 fish oil, then you have to be very careful if they are cold pressed, like they are processed without too much heat. Because if they are heating the fish to get the oil, then the omega-3 gets spoiled. So we have to be very careful with that. So increasing your omega-3 fatty acids, and I would say clams and mussels, oysters are the best. And fish eggs. Do you know fish eggs?
Yeah.
Those are high in nutrients and they're high in omega-3s. Okay. We also, yeah, and also increase vitamins like vitamin E, vitamin A, E, and vitamin C, because they are antioxidants. Because the brain has tendencies of acting towards stress. So for reducing the stress, you need these vitamins like A, C, and E.
Right.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So let's talk about fermented. After you
fermented food. That's exactly what I was going to say. And increase your fermented food.
Exactly.
Yeah, you can go on.
I have a ton of yogurt in the fridge that I eat every day. Actually, normally that'd be my last snack for the evening.
Okay.
Yogurt. So yeah, I do a lot of yogurt. So go ahead.
Yogurts are very healthy. And actually, I think it's 2 weeks ago, I was having this study between yogurts made from plants and yogurts from the cow. And I was comparing actually soy, because sometimes I buy soy yogurt, and I buy also yogurts from the cow. But I always buy organic yogurts, organic milk. Okay. And they are source of probiotics. They are source of these good bacteria. So it's good to eat. But once again, there must be plain yogurt, not fruit yogurt.
Exactly.
They are plain yogurt that have probiotics. So they are healthy and they actually increase. But the thing is, some people will say, yes, I ate yogurt last week. The probiotic is something that you need. Make clear. Probiotic. Because there is prebiotic. Prebiotic is the fiber that feeds the probiotics.
Exactly.
So when you are taking the probiotics, you have to be careful, because they also go out with the waste matter.
Right.
So it's like something we need to keep on eating all the time.
And what I do when I was doing my research on yogurts, I find that Greek yogurt, plain Greek yogurt, helps with the gut, not only for me, but for Kobe as well. So when I eat yogurt, Kobe will eat yogurt as well.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay, fine. Here we have Greek yogurt, like they have created Greek yogurt. But for anyone out there, a plain yogurt is good. It has probiotics, and it's perfect for bringing more probiotics into your diet. But here's the thing. If you just take yogurt, you're just bringing those bacteria that are in the yogurt. So you need to go beyond that and bring other foods like sauerkraut, fermented vegetables, what do you call it, kombucha. You try to bring a lot of different varieties of fermented food, so that you can have variety of bacteria.
Okay.
And I would say this has nothing to do with the nutrition, but going into the field, going into the plant where there is forest or where there is water, you are getting those microbiomes as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is good stuff, man. Real good stuff here. Real good stuff. So Catherine and I will be back in August, right?
Yeah.
We'll be back in August. We'll be talking about my
Your
personal
condition. Your condition. Yeah.
my conditioning with my personal journey with the bleed on the brain and the stroke and whatnot and the benefits that I've been having. As I was talking to Catherine backstage, she asked me the percentage of my recovery, where I'm at in the recovery, right? Um, my personal opinion is 65%, 4 years, 4 years in, but I committed myself to 7 years as a personal goal for myself to get a full and complete recovery, 7 years. So I okayed it with my neurologist, and he was like, hey, that's fine if you're going to do the work. So I'm 4 years in at 65%. Can you imagine what I'll be in 3 years?
That's a really good improvement. And as
Sorry.
I say that's a good improvement, and it's really congratulations. And I believe this is inspiring other people. Whether you have the condition or maybe you have someone who has the condition, it's something that to say like, yeah, you're not condemned with the result that you got from the doctors. But
No,
you
I
can
wasn't.
improve it. You can improve your health. I'll
Exactly. And
touch just I'll touch just the last part of my presentation. It's hydration, that we need to drink water. People, I never knew this till when I started doing research on mental health. It's like drinking water is really essential because water is required for biochemicals in the brain and also for energy. But here's the thing: dehydration shrinks the brain.
wow.
Yeah. So the last weekend, I was having a talk, and there is this man who looked at me and was like, "What will I do because I don't drink water?" I was like, "What do you mean I don't drink water? Like, I maybe have a cup of water in a week.
In a week.
In a week, yeah. To some extent, I would have laughed at him, but that's the way I was before. I grew up in a place where we had a lot of milk, but the water was scarce in such a way that we had to go to the river far from the house to go and get water. And in that river, it was in a forest where we had wild animals. So we would go like group of people, like families, and we go fetch water that is supposed to last 3-4 days. It's not like each day thing that you have to go to fetch the water. And so the water in the house is scarce because you can't just use it without paying attention that if you finish that water, you're not going to get water after. And so I grew up not drinking water. And yes, there sometimes I could go for a week without drinking water. But really, that is really detrimental for my health. I realized that. And today, like, that is 1 liter
I see
of
that.
water. And I drink this, like 4 of this in a day. Okay, I add herbs here. I have added parsley and lemons and garlic. So I don't necessarily drink pure water, but I drink water with lemon, with herbs. So if someone has that problem of, oh, I don't like taking water, I don't like the taste of the water, just heat water, put some plants. I don't boil my water, I just heat it and then put these herbs. So you see that there is also this during summer where we cut fruits and we put them in the water and you infuse that and you drink it because it's really essential to drink water.
Question for you. So is that
Yeah.
water warm? Is it warm or
Yeah.
cold?
Sorry,
Your water, is it warm or cold?
mine is warm. Like I made it a bit almost before we started, so it's warm. I have that problem in taking like fresh water, like it's coming from fridge and you drink that. I don't get to drink that. So my water, it's always that wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is warm some water and I drink that.
Okay.
Yeah. And so hydration is very important. And there is that thing of water is not just water. And we talked when you said you take purified water.
Right.
And you need to, for you, you said you also take electrolytes. And so purified water is not giving you the nutrients that you need for your health and for your brain. So if you're drinking water, make sure that your water has minerals. Okay?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. So yeah, so we'll be back in August. I think
Yeah.
it's August the 11th, right?
Yeah, from 6th, I think. Because from 6th. We'll fix that. We'll fix that.
Yeah, we'll fix it. But
Yeah.
yeah, we're gonna be focusing on the condition, and it's been very beneficial for me to communicate with Catherine on nutrition with this condition. As you can see, I'm doing very well. As I was telling her, I'm more healthier now than I was before the incident. So it's very important. We'll continue to bring you guys these nutrition moments with Catherine, and we're here to do it. We're going to continue to do it until we get it across you guys' heads that nutrition is very important.
It's very
What
important.
you consume is extremely important for a healthy
Yeah.
and better life.
For
Not only
sure.
does it help you physically, helps you mentally as well. So I'm more sharp now. I find that, and I know folks will find that quite funny. I'm more sharp now than I was before. And I was extra sharp before, but I'm more sharp now.
That's exactly what I say. Like for me, I had very hard time in school, and I now last week I was having some course that I had to do in a very short time, and I have noticed since when I started really changing my diet, also the way I have that focus. I don't have to take notes all the time. Like I can take notes after because my brain is sharp, I'm concentrated, and I'm getting stuff. So we are not condemned. Once again, we are not condemned with depression, anxiety. It comes also with ADDs. There is some nuance also food can also help in autism. That is something else that you need to work with your doctor. But sure, when you have those depression, anxiety, brain fog, irritability, you have the power to do something. And like in my blog, I say you have the power to heal yourself.
Absolutely.
So for sure, for everyone who is listening, and for those who have people who have disabilities, there are things you can't change for sure, but you can always have something to improve.
Absolutely. With that said, Catherine and I will be back next month, and we're actually doing this twice a month. So
Yeah,
this is you see why this is very important to the both of us. Nutrition is extremely important. It's
for
life
sure.
saving. So we're committed to it. We're definitely committed to it. Catherine over in France. I'm over here in the States, and we're committed to it. Yes, I have to wake up very early to podcast
Yeah,
with Catherine, but I wouldn't have any other way because the information, very informative information, and she's very knowledgeable. Let's just say it. She's very knowledgeable.
okay.
And I love her work. Go to foodandheal.com for her blogs, for different recipes, and actually the book. What's the name of your book again?
Egg book. For now, I just have an egg book. I haven't published my recipe book. I have a breakfast book that I've written, but I haven't published it yet.
Okay.
So
All right.
I have to work on that. Yeah.
Good stuff. But the egg book
Yeah.
is out there now, right?
Yeah.
It's available on the website.
Yeah, on the one stop. But you buy it from Amazon. But
I'm
you
sorry.
have a link. You buy it from Amazon, but you have a direct link from the blog.
Wait a
From
minute.
the
Oh,
blog part.
You're on Amazon? Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Excuse me, big timer. Excuse me. That's good
yeah.
stuff, man. Real good stuff.
It's an ebook. It's an ebook, and it really talks about how what is the place of the eggs in your diet? How does it affect you? Is it
Right.
that healthy? Yeah, it's something to bring some knowledge out there. So I
That's,
loved it. I love it. I love it.
that's good stuff, man. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. So nutrition and mental health, man. This was a good one. This is a real good one. Really appreciate you, Catherine, as always. Really appreciate you as always. So we'll be talking about some stuff in the coming months, and this is good. It's off to a great start. Oh, let me. I'd like to actually make an announcement here. The
Yeah.
conversation is now in 27 countries, European countries, that is. So that's
Wow,
good stuff there. So it's distributed in 27 countries, European countries. So I'm glad for that. Very grateful for that. Very grateful,
that's good.
Catherine. And so we'll
Thank you.
continue to move the conversation back to where it once was. So good stuff. Real good
Thank
stuff.
you. And for everyone who is making this happen, thank you. We wouldn't be here without you. So thank you. Thank you to everyone. I
Thanks
appreciate
to
it.
you
Yeah.
that market's opening up over there. So thanks to you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
good stuff, real good stuff. So not only in the States, we're in Europe as well. As we call it, we're across the pond. So, over the pond. So good
Yeah.
stuff, there, man. Real good stuff. Any closing remarks, Catherine? You want to give your thank yous to your folks over in France?
Yeah. Yeah. I would say thank you to everyone, wherever you're watching from. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I appreciate being here. Thank you for choosing this space for me, Trent. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. And I appreciate that. And once again, I'm looking forward to bringing knowledgeable information. It's one of my desires because I think here we're talking to everyone, but for me, women have the right to know that they have the help in their hands and they can do something to change their lives. Why women? Because I'm concerned and I'm a woman, but also because the diseases really affects more women than men. So
Interesting.
yeah.
That's interesting. I didn't know that, but that's interesting. Hmm.
Well, especially chronic illness, it's more severe. It's more in women than in men, um, which is, and it also becomes like when a man is sick, we know the man is sick, and so the man is going to stay there. The woman is going to take care of. But when the woman is sick, she has to compensate. She has to deal with the family and deal with her disease.
Right.
From I don't know whether we have time. Yeah, I am a single mom, and I brought my kids alone, and I stopped carrying my baby. Maybe she was 2 years old. I couldn't lift her because of the disease,
Wow.
and it was so much painful, physically, but also emotionally. Just seeing her and she's there, and I can pick her up and no, and all those things like I'm having my moods, I'm having all this the pain, and I have no one to communicate or someone to help.
Totally.
When if that was a man, I'll stay there and I would pamper him. And so
I
yeah,
totally
you
get it.
you get it.
I totally
Yeah,
get it. And this is why it's important. And as long as I have a platform, you have a microphone. So you're
thank
free
you,
to speak on anything that you wish.
thank you.
My dear friend, my dear friend. Good stuff there. So until we meet again, we'll be back next month. We're going to take a couple of weeks off and we'll be back at it. Nutritious, nutrition with the nutritionist coach, Catherine. So we'll be featuring her twice a month. We're featuring Catherine twice a month. And it's going to be a continuous thing. So it's not just some fly by night thing. It's going to be a continuous thing. So, Catherine, again, I truly appreciate you. All the folks over in Europe, all the folks in France, really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. So good stuff there, man. Good stuff. Don't forget to
Thank you.
subscribe. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, to the Taylor Kennedy TV channel, all that good stuff. So don't forget to subscribe. So good stuff. On Sunday, we'll be I'll be with Coach D. Coach D and Ursula, she's coming back as well. So I didn't do it on last Sunday, so we're gonna follow up with this Sunday at 7 p.m. Central US time. So good stuff there, man. Any closing remarks, Catherine?
No, thank you. That's all I can say. I'm so grateful. Thank you.
Good stuff. I'm grateful to you as well. So until next month, we'll be back with the nutritionist coach Catherine from France. Next month on the 11th, I believe it is. We'll work the dates out, but good stuff. Until then, you guys be epic.
Conversations with Trent in conjunction with Taylor Kennedy Media and your radio network would like to thank you for calling in and listening to tonight's episode. We hope that tonight's conversation offended you just enough to turn your mirror inward to come back for more. So until next week's conversation, be epic.